Have you ever looked at someone and genuinely thought how they do so much? They go to the gym almost every day. They work on their business after work. They read, they study, they're building something all the time. Meanwhile, you struggle to convince yourself to do even a single thing that you know you should do. So, what's the difference? Are they just born motivated? That's what I used to think. But after digging through books on psychology, listening to neurologists like Andrew Huberman, reading about elite athletes, and looking at how high performers actually spend their day, I realized I'd been asking the wrong question. The question isn't, how do I become more motivated? Because motivation comes and goes. The real question is, how do some people make hard things feel normal? And once I understood that, a lot of things started making sense. In this video, I'm going to show you the biggest patterns I kept seeing over and over again. Some of them are backed by psychology, some by neuroscience, and some are just habits that almost every high performer seems to have in common. None of them are flashy, but together, they explain why some people look almost unreasonably driven. Let's get one thing out of the way. I don't think motivated people exist. At least not in the way most of us imagine them. Think about the person you know who's always in the gym, or the friend who's always working on their business, or maybe that YouTuber who uploads every single week without disappearing for 3 months. From the outside, it looks like they're permanently motivated. But if you actually listen to interviews with elite athletes or successful entrepreneurs, you'll notice something interesting. Almost none of them say, "I always feel like doing the work." In fact, most of them say the exact opposite. They have bad days, they get distracted, they procrastinate. The difference is what happens next. Most people wait until they feel motivated before they start. High performers start, and then motivation catches up. There's actually a psychological reason for this. Researchers call it the progress principle. One of the strongest drivers of motivation isn't getting motivated first. It's making progress. Even small wins can increase your willingness to keep going. Think about the last time you cleaned your room. The hardest part wasn't folding the clothes. It was getting up. But once you clean one shelf, you naturally want to clean the next one. The action created motivation, not the other way around. So here's something I started doing. Whenever I don't feel like working, I make a deal with myself. Just do the work for 5 minutes. Not an hour, not until it's finished. Just 5 minutes. And most of the time, I keep going, because starting is usually the hardest part. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to decide what to do? Should I go to the gym now or after dinner? Should I study first or answer messages? Should I film today or tomorrow? Every decision drains a little bit of mental energy. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. The more choices you make throughout the day, the worse you become at making the next one. That's why disciplined people often look boring. They eat the same meal. They train at the same time. They have a routine, not because they love routines, but because routines eliminate unnecessary decision. If every morning you have to convince yourself to work out, you're making life harder than it needs to be. Instead, decide once, I'll train at 6 p.m. every single day. Now it isn't a question anymore. It's just what happens at 6 p.m. That sounds simple, but simple is usually what works. Everyone says phones are distracting. That's obvious. What's less obvious is that what they do after you put them down. Researchers have found that simply having your phone nearby can reduce available attention on demanding tasks. Your brain is still allocating resources because the possibility of interruption exists. That's wild. You don't even have to use it. Just knowing it's there can make it harder to focus. Now think about how many times a day you check it. A notification, a message, a quick scroll. It only takes 30 seconds. But your brain doesn't instantly jump back to the deep work. It has to rebuild the focus. So here's one of the easiest changes I've ever made. Whenever I need to do some focused work, I leave my phone to the next room, not face down or not on silent. It's such a small change, but it's amazing how much easier it is to stay locked in when the biggest distraction isn't constantly asking for your attention. Here's something that confused me for a very long time. Why do some people actually enjoy working? I mean, they genuinely enjoy the boring part, the editing, the studying, the training, the repetition. At first, I thought they were just wired differently. But after looking into it, I realized they weren't enjoying the hard work itself. They were enjoying getting better. Think about a video game. Nobody starts because they're already good. You start because every few minutes you get feedback. You unlock something, you beat a level, you see your progress. Real life does not work like that. You go to the gym for 2 weeks and you barely notice a difference. Progress in real life is delayed. That's why so many people quit. Not because they hate the goal, but because they can't see themselves improving. So here's something that actually helped me a lot. I stopped measuring outcomes. I started measuring reps. Instead of, did I gain muscle today? I started asking, did I train today? When you start chasing reps instead of results, you win almost every day. So, after researching all of this, I don't think highly motivated people are actually more motivated than everyone else. They don't rely on discipline magically appearing at 6 a.m. And they definitely don't have a secret source of unlimited willpower. Instead, they've made 1,000 small decisions that make doing the right thing easier. They've built routines instead of relying on motivation. They've learned how to focus. They've accepted the progress is slow, and most importantly, they stopped expecting hard work feels easy. From the outside, that sounds obsessive. It looks like they're built differently. It looks like they're psychotic. But if you could spend a week living their life, you'd probably realize something. Most of what they do isn't extreme. It's just consistent. And consistency always looks dramatic to people who only see the results. So here's what I want you to do after you watch this video. Don't try to change your entire life tonight. Don't promise yourself you'll suddenly become the hardest worker on the planet. Just pick one thing from this video. Maybe it's putting your phone in another room while you work. Maybe it's committing to 5 minutes instead of waiting for motivation. Maybe it's building a routine instead of making another promise to yourself. It doesn't matter which one you choose. What matters is that you actually use it. Because information does not change your life. Applied information does. 1 year from now, someone you know is going to look like they have unbelievable discipline. People will say that they're just built different. But now, you know better. You know that what looks like motivation is usually just a collection of habits, systems, and decisions repeated over a long period of time. The question is, when people look at your life a year from now, what are they going to assume about you? Maybe they'll think you're psychotic too. There's one thing I want to say before I end this video. The people who achieve extraordinary things don't do extraordinary things once in a while. They do ordinary things extraordinarily consistently.